So today I have the opportunity to interview Miss Mary Beth Wright, a director at the Arlett Child and Family Research Education Center here at the University of Cincinnati. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of the informational interview. Would you like to start by giving us a brief introduction of yourself and your role here at Arlett?
Sure. Like Isabella said, my name is Mary Beth Wright. I am the director of the Arlett Child Development Center, which is a part of the wider Arlett Center for Research, Education, and Sustainability. I have been here for about 16 years. The first 7 years I served as a teacher in the preschool classroom, and then I moved into administration. After that. And I really run the day-to-day preschool program here. We are a lab school, which means that part of our mission is to research and demonstrate best practices to not only the UC community, but also the broader early childhood community. So, part of my role is to be involved in the research that goes on here, to look at studies and approve them before they are implemented, and that sort of thing. That's just kind of, in general, who I am and what I do. Just a little bit more about my background. I got my bachelor's in early childhood education from UC, and then I also finished my graduate studies and received a master's degree, also with a focus on it's educational studies, but with a focus on early childhood.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting when I came here that it was like all the developmental work that you guys do, and I saw the booths where you could see, like, you could observe the children, and it even has like a sound system where you could turn it up and you could hear what they're saying and everything. So the way that the preschool is set up is really interesting to me. I've never seen anything similar to this.
Yes.
And I was just wondering what sparked you to choose this career? Like, what was the first thing that really sparked your interest in this area?
So I actually, I think I always wanted to be a teacher, but when I got into high school, part of my brain was like, there's no pay in that. Is that really what I want to do? Maybe something a little bit more prestigious. And so I actually was in DAP, the design school, as a freshman.
Oh, okay.
So I was there for about a year and a half, and I kind of had this revelation of, wanting to really give back with whatever career I chose. And I came to a realization that always wanted to go into education, and I took some courses that really focused on the role of education and the importance of it really in building and supporting our larger democracy, and so that was really impactful. It's kind of how I got into education, and I did, as part of my bachelor's degree, I had to do a number of different practical experiences. So one in preschool, actually I was placed here at Arlett, and then I did a kindergarten one, I was in a second grade classroom, and then I was in a first grade classroom. And when I started my bachelor's degree, I really thought that I wanted to be a first or second grade teacher, but I absolutely loved my time here at Arlett in the preschool classroom. I just loved how much children learn and grow during that time period. And I also really loved that there was freedom, more freedom within the preschool environment to try out new things. It's not as regulated as especially our public school system, K-12 system is.
Yeah, because it's right before that period where there's like a set curriculum where, it's like they're like most public schools have to do the same thing, right?
Right.
Like when it's K through 12, but then preschool there's a little bit more leeway to try different ways of learning and everything. I find that really interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
And
In my internship, my senior year, I can still remember this so vividly. They had passed around the standardized test scores of students in every classroom, so the teacher got a printout of, these are all the students, and at the top were all the students that passed the standardized assessment, and then at the bottom were all the children that didn't pass, and then like in highlighted were like the 3 or 4 children that didn't pass but were just on the cusp of passing.
mhm,
And they said, we want you to focus all your efforts on these 3 or 4 children to get them to pass.
mhm.
So basically, like, they were more worried about the numbers of their standardized test results than, really focusing on supporting every child and helping
Uh-huh.
them, become the best person that they can be and supporting positive outcomes for each child. So that really kind of jaded me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Like how if there's not an individualized plan for each child and helping them develop as a person, like that, I feel like that's an important base for them to be, like an important foundation for them to be able to then, get better scores. I feel like the better scores are a result of working on them individually.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yes, and like, I don't know, there's just a deeper, like, you should be doing this work because of your beliefs about young children and the
Mhm.
importance of each child.
Yeah.
Not
Exactly, and
because
how it will
of
support
some
the
test
community.
score.
Right.
Right. It's about
Like, if we
building a
focus on them
society
first.
that we all want
Mhm.
to be a part
And
of.
it starts here, really.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
I'd agree. So, how did you? What is a typical day or week like for you here at Arlet?
Well, this year it's a little different than it normally
because
is.
Because of the pandemic, I
Right.
can imagine.
Right. So, so much this year is really about health and safety and keeping people, healthy and safe.
Mhm.
Um, you know, a big part of my job is staffing, so making sure that each classroom has appropriate staff. So I do a lot of the, I'm involved in the hiring of all of our teachers, hiring the students that help in our classrooms, and then kind of managing that on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, normally we're able to do more research than we are right now, but I also, read over those things and approve them. There's so much that goes into being a preschool director. Sometimes I'm like in the kitchen washing dishes if that's what needs to happen that day, or in classrooms supporting teachers. We are a Head Start center. I think we've talked about that,
Mhm.
but for your interview purposes, want a little bit more information about that. About half the children that attend here are funded through Head Start, which is the federally funded program for lower income families. And there are a lot of policies and rules and regulations that go along with being a Head Start center. So there is a lot of monitoring that's involved in that. We have governance, so we have a parent policy group that meets once a month that I attend all those meetings, prepare like information to give to the parents. We also have a governing board that most of the people that sit on that are part of the university, but again, we prepare reports for them because it's really important that we're just transparent in what we do, especially since we're receiving government funding. So that's another piece of my job.